Hey there, everyone. I'm so glad you're joining us today for this fascinating chat. Welcome to Voices Behind the Lens, the podcast where we explore the intersection of independent cinema and social issues, focusing on accessibility, inclusion, disability, health, and the environment. We have an amazing guest with us today, Mark Krol, a filmmaker from Russia. He's here to share his journey and insights into his latest documentary, Invisible Life. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Mark, could you kick things off by describing yourself?
Hi, I'm a filmmaker from Stavropol, Russia, and I've been in the film industry for other 10 years. My latest project is a documentary called Invisible Life, which looks at the daily lives of 5 visually impaired individuals. I don't really stick to one genre. I enjoy making documentaries, narrative films, music videos, and social ads. But in the future, I hope to focus more on feature films and documentaries.
That sounds exciting. So, you're quite the multitasker. Wearing many hats on set must give you such a unique perspective on the filmmaking process.
Definitely. On set, I take on a lot of roles. I'm the director, cinematographer, screenwriter, and sometimes I even help with set decoration or film promotion. In independent filmmaking, it's pretty common to juggle multiple tasks.
And
Plus, since I fund all my films myself, it gives me an extra push to make them happen.
yeah, what inspires you to create these documentaries?
Yeah, what drives me is the heart of the stories I tell. I focus on the core narrative and the depth of the characters, allowing them to communicate their experiences. I feel like many answers we seek come from our own lives and circumstances, and it's up to viewers to find their own meanings in those stories.
That's such a profound way to look at storytelling. Now, for those who haven't seen your work, how would you introduce Invisible Life?
Yeah, Invisible Life takes you into the everyday experiences of 5 visually impaired individuals living in a small Russian city. It's an observational documentary without voiceover, allowing viewers to immerse themselves in their world and see the challenges and experiences firsthand. You'll watch them navigate busy cafes, shop for cosmetics, and attend cultural events. And this film is dedicated to the memory of Sasha Lishov, the youngest of our protagonists, who sadly passed away after filming.
It is very sad. What themes or elements do you really want to highlight in the film?
Yeah, a key element I want to emphasize is the authenticity of the characters. Each person has a unique story that showcases not just their challenges, but also their joys and triumphs. For example, Sasha was super tech savvy and loved modern cinema and music. Then there's Katya, who recently got married to a makeup artist who helps her with her looks. There's also Vadim, who travels alone to new cities. Hearing stories like his puts personal problems into perspective. We also feature Vasily, who writes and performs music and even publishes a Braille newspaper. And Dasha, a former dancer, walks through the city with her mother, sharing what they see around them. Of course, there's a touching moment in the film where Sasha walks home, filling the worlds of billions to find his way. It's really incredible.
This is really impressive. So, what kind of challenges did you face while making Invisible Life?
It was a fascinating experience. I worked with a local library for the visually impaired, which helped me connect with the protagonist. Then building trust was vital. I wanted them to feel comfortable sharing their lives. That involved a lot of listening and really understanding their perspectives, which was both a privilege and a responsibility.
Yes, it must have taken a lot of patience to capture those genuine moments.
Yeah, since it's an observational documentary, we aimed to capture genuine moments without disrupting their daily lives. It required a lot of patience and flexibility. It was heartbreaking when Sasha passed away. That was really tough for everyone involved. I originally wanted to end the film with music, but I decided to change it to silence with the credits as a tribute to him.
That's such a heartfelt tribute to Sasha. It must have been tough to make that decision. What initially brought you to this line of work?
Yeah, it started with my curiosity about human experiences and the stories we carry. I spent a lot of time working on music videos and short films, which were great for creativity, but I wanted something more genuine and real. I noticed that many voices, especially those of people with disabilities, weren't being heard. I felt compelled to showcase their resilience and everyday realities, which seemed really important and relevant.
And how has the theme of disability influenced your work?
When I came across this film, I realized how brave and honest the characters were. They were friendly and really wanted to share their experiences. This sense of trust and connection was very important for the film. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you navigate communication on set?
We used various methods like describing surroundings or giving auditory instructions for orientation. It wasn't a challenge. It was just part of the process.
It sounds like you really adapted to create a supportive environment. Have you worked with neurodivergent individuals as well?
Yes, I've had the chance to work with neurodivergent people, and it was eye-opening. You know, I realized that sometimes we create barriers with our labels. We just need to be sensitive, listen, and create a comfortable space for everyone to express themselves.
Yeah. How has this experience changed your approach to work?
Definitely. I've learned that everyone perceives the world differently. It's crucial to create an environment where people feel safe, heard, and valued. You know, this helps build trust and improves communication. Yes, it's definitely shifted my approach to filmmaking.
Yeah, now let's talk about experimental methods in filmmaking. How do you think they help us understand ourselves and others?
Experimental methods can be really freeing. They let us break from traditional storytelling and explore narratives in fresh ways. In Invisible Life, I chose a documentary style without voiceover, which allowed me to present the characters' stories honestly, without manipulation. It helps viewers engage with their lives more realistically.
Hmm. How do you prepare for these experimental shoots?
Preparation is key, even with experimental shoots. It's important to be ready for unexpected ideas and to think about how to interact with the environment. Having some key questions in mind can guide the shoot. You might not use everything you plan, but it helps build confidence during filming.
That makes so much sense. Embracing uncertainty can lead to amazing discoveries. Do you find that the environment we live in shapes our abilities, or is it the other way around?
I think it's a bit of both. The circumstances we are in can really shape our abilities. If someone has the right resources and support, they can reach their potential. In this life, the characters showed how supportive environment helps them express themselves and navigate life. By the way, this can be understood in a different ways. But our abilities can also shape our environment. When people push boundaries, it can lead to great accessibility.
That's right. There's definitely a dynamic interplay there. What do you feel is currently missing in disability culture?
Yeah, I think there's a lack of diverse representation in disability culture. We often see the same, sometimes stereotypical stories being told. We need more platforms that celebrate the individuality and complexity of disabled people's lives. We shouldn't shy away from potential misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just need to present things as they are.
Absolutely. Diversity in storytelling is so important. How does the natural environment play into these conversations about health and well-being?
The natural environment has a huge impact on our physical and mental health. I find that spending time in nature is really restorative. In this life, the characters often talked about helping outside, whether it's walking in a park or feeling the sun, brings them joy. Nature connects us all,
Mm-hmm.
no matter our abilities, and reminds us of life's simple pleasures.
Yes, nature truly has a way of grounding us. Do you live in a city or a rural area?
I live in a provincial city, which has its own charm and challenges. It's not as busy as a big city, but it has a vibrant community. This setting influenced invisible life, allowing me to explore my characters' everyday lives in a familiar space.
That's wonderful. It sounds like the setting plays a big role in your storytelling. Do you have concerns about the quality of the air and water in your area?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Honestly, many of us tend to take clean air and water for granted until something goes wrong. Yeah. Well, personally, I live in Stavropol, and I have to say the air and water quality is pretty good. I'm lucky to be near a forest in a nice neighborhood without too many tall buildings. Of course, the situation might be different in other cities where such issues need to be addressed. Yeah.
It's great to hear that you have a conducive living environment. How about your work environment? What's that like?
My work environment is pretty flexible. I usually work from home, which allows me to focus on my projects without distractions. I can really dive into the details.
And do you also collaborate with others in shared spaces?
Yes, I love collaborating with my team in shared spaces, especially during production. Being together sparks creativity and builds a sense of community. Plus, getting outside perspectives can be really valuable.
As we wrap up, what are your hopes for the future, especially in light of the environmental crisis we're facing?
I hope for a more conscious approach to environmental issues. It's not just about saving the planet, it's about including everyone, regardless of abilities, in this movement. We need to create spaces for all voices in environmental conversations. Everyone can contribute in their own way,
Yeah, we all have a part to play. So what's next for you? What exciting projects are on the horizon?
Uh, right now, I'm working on a feature film that's quite different from my previous documentaries. It's a drama thriller with some sci-fi elements, revolving around a young girl who discovers time travel. I still really enjoy making documentaries, and I might go back to it into the future. But every day needs time to grow, and taking a break can help it develop before it's ready to be shown. Sometimes taking a step back is just as valuable as moving forward, as it gives you time to think and get inspired.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Mark, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I can't wait to see how your work continues to inspire and impact others.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to everyone tuning in, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Voices Behind the Lens podcast. Be sure to keep an eye out for Mark's upcoming projects. Until next time, take care.